Chinedu Okafor did not grow up rich. In fact, poverty knew his childhood address very well. He grew up in a crowded compound in Onitsha, sharing one room with 6 people. His father died early. His mother hawked food just to keep them alive. There were days Chinedu went to bed hungry, not because there was no food in the house, but because it was not his turn to eat. What shaped him the most wasn't hunger. It was humiliation. Relatives mocked his mother openly. Some promised help and never showed up. Others gave small money and reminded them of it for years. So Chinedu made a vow. If I ever become wealthy, nobody will ever look down on my household again. Years later, he became exactly what people admired. Real estate, importation, quiet influence. By the time Chinedu married, money was no longer a problem. His wife, Ifeanyi Okafor, was the opposite. She grew up poor too, but loved. Her parents had little, yet they never complained. They sacrificed quietly, believing their daughter would someday be okay. And she was married to a wealthy man, living comfortably. But Ifeanyi's heart never left home. Whenever her mother casually mentioned something, new yam, palm oil, dried fish, it stayed with her. So she sent things. At first, openly. But Chinedu's reaction was always the same. Silence. Withdrawal. A wall. Chinedu never shouted. Never forbade her. He simply shut down. And that silence confused Ifeanyi. So she began sending things quietly. Waybills. Hidden transfers. Deleted call logs. Her parents prayed endlessly for Chinedu, a man they believed was generous beyond words. Life moved on, until one small decision shook everything. The usual driver wasn't around. Ifeanyi hesitated. Her spirit warned her. But her mother had called that morning. New Yam season had started. She ignored the warning. She used a strange driver. 1 day passed. 2 days. Nothing. By the 3rd day, fear wrapped around her chest. That morning, she thought Chinedu had gone to work. She called the driver again. And when he said the goods were handed over to logistics, she broke down. That was when she turned and saw Chinedu standing behind her. Chinedu didn't raise his voice. He asked one question. So you've been sending things behind my back? Ifeanyi didn't deny it. She was exhausted. Then Chinedu said something she never expected. He said, I don't stop you because of money. He told her the truth. Years ago, before they married, Chinedu once helped his own extended family endlessly. School fees, rent, food, hospital bills. And then one day, during an argument, a relative said to him, after all the money you've been sending, what have you really done? That sentence broke something inside him. Since then, Chinedu believed one thing strongly. Giving without structure destroys dignity. He didn't want her parents to become people waiting for parcels. He wanted to give them something that would last, without making them feel dependent or exposed to ridicule from others. So he planned quietly. He had already arranged land documents in their village. He had contacted a contractor. He planned to surprise them during December visit, with a completed upgrade and a small business setup in their name. His mistake? He never spoke. Ifeanyi cried. Not because he was wicked, but because he never trusted her enough to explain. They apologized. They listened. The goods arrived days later. Mama prayed, but something had already changed. December came closer. Plans were in motion. But what Chinedu didn't know, what nobody knew, was that a family member back home had discovered the land documents. And envy was already growing. Because sometimes, the real battle doesn't come from misunderstanding between husband and wife. It comes from outsiders waiting for the right moment to destroy peace. And that is where the real story begins. What Chinedu Okafor didn't know was this. In the village, news travels faster than light. The moment the land documents entered town, someone saw them, someone talked, and someone became uncomfortable. It was Uche, a distant cousin who had always believed that Chinedu's success was accidental and temporary. Uche had watched Chinedu grow from nothing, watch him rise, and secretly waited for him to fall. When he discovered that Chinedu had bought land and was planning something big for Ifeanyi's parents, envy entered his heart like poison. And poison never stays quiet. Uche didn't confront Chinedu directly. No, he went to the easier target, Ifeanyi's parents. He visited them one evening, wearing concern like a mask. He told them stories. That Chinidu was angry they depended too much on their daughter. That the gifts being sent were causing problems in the marriage. That the land was not really for them, just business. Mama listened. Papa stayed quiet. But doubt entered their home. That night, Mama called Ifunanya, not to ask for food, but to apologize. That call broke Ifunanya's heart. For the first time in her marriage, Ifunanya spoke openly. She told Chinidu everything. About the sneaking, the fear, the shame, the lies told in silence. And then she told him about Uche. Chinidu didn't shout, but something hardened in his eyes. Not anger, resolve. Chinidu acted fast. He called his lawyer. He secured the land openly, in the parents' names. He transferred ownership documents legally. Then he did something unexpected. He called a family meeting. In the village. In public. In front of elders, relatives, and neighbors, Chinidu spoke. He didn't insult anyone. He didn't accuse blindly. He simply explained. His childhood. His humiliation. His fear of turning elders into dependents. His plan to restore dignity, not create reliance. Then he handed over the documents. Silence fell. Mama cried. Papa stood up. And for the first time, they called Chinidu my son. Uche couldn't look up. Because lies don't survive light. Construction began. Not a mansion, but a strong, decent home. Chinidu also helped set up a small palm oil business for Papa. Not charity. Structure. Dignity. Ifunanya stopped sneaking. Her parents stopped apologizing. And Chinidu finally learned that silence, no matter how well-intended, can still wound. Today, the Okafor home is peaceful. Chinidu reminds Ifunanya to call her parents. Ifunanya reminds him about his people too. They give. Not secretly, not loudly, but wisely. Because love isn't about control. It's about communication. And understanding is the real wealth. That keeps a marriage standing. Sometimes, the problem is not wickedness. It's silence. And sometimes, love doesn't fail. People just don't talk. If you find this story interesting, please like, share, and hit the notification channel to subscribe for more interesting and heartwarming stories. Thank you.